Hey Project Fam, my day started off great but went downhill real quick. So my new filter for the Porsche came in. I wanted to get the oil nice and warm, so I took it for a little spin. Took it on the highway, didn't push it too much, just a nice little ride. Came back, the oil is nice and hot. I can jack up the car. My plan is to have the oil just ooze out the engine. My plan is to get as much dirty oil out that car as possible. And then, you know what? I'll let you hear it real time. Hey, Project Fam. I have tires going on tomorrow. So I thought I would get the car jacked up so I could also take another look at the suspension. Yeah. Just kind of look underneath. Okay. Got the car nice and warm. I'm going to do an oil change. And then what? I jack up. And what do I see? Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh my gosh. What's that? That's a wet spot. Pause. Look, it's leaking. See if I can get some light. This is not good. This is probably my worst fear. Where is it leaking from? Right where the transmission meets the engine. Why is that important? Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Come on, say it. Don't sugarcoat it. You gonna say it? You want me to say it? You taking way too long to say it. Forget it. I'll say it. That's where the IMS is. That's the problem I've been trying to avoid for the longest. IMS stands for intermediate shaft bearing, and the RMS, rear main seal. That is the problem. I'm worried now because if this IMS bearing has failed, when I pull off the oil filter and drop the oil, I'm gonna have shades of metal in my oil. It is going to be horrendous. This is probably one of the worst things that can happen, other than the engine just blowing up. I kid you not. That's how bad this is. And you know what? I looked underneath here a few weeks ago, and I didn't see anything. It was dry. So is it possible that the oil is thin and it's getting through the bearing? I'm driving a little bit more now, so I'm pushing, adding more pressure and pushing the oil through the bearing. I don't know. Is the oil being pushed through the seal? Not the rear main seal? All right. Not good at all. It's one of the symptoms of the intermediate shaft bearing failure. It'll also look like that if the rear main seal is leaking. And yes, those were a couple of target areas that I was gonna work on next, but yeah, that's just, oh, this hurts. That's depressing. This is bad. Oh my gosh. I can't even drive the car now. I cannot drive the car another foot. It's basically has to stay here until either I fix it or chance driving it to a garage. So I'm going to change the oil and look to see if I find any metal fragments in the oil. So that'll be my next steps. I am so pissed off because what I really wanted to do, my plan was to change the oil, put the new tires and the new rims on the car, take it for a ride down the road. And by the way, the wheels, oh, I have such a surprise for you guys. The wheels and tire combination together is absolute fire. It's just a lot of money to maintain these cars. And you know what? It's not even just to maintain these cars, like, you know, this car is an issue. This is just when you're working on a project and you're trying to do everything in a short period of time, money just goes. That oil looks great. That oil looks like coffee, and I hope that wasn't a chunk that fell out of there. It looked like a chunk of metal, but I don't think it was. But that oil looks good. I'm looking for like a silver color to the oil, like metal grinding up in the oil. I'm looking for chunks. When I pull out the filter and cut the filter up, I'm looking for that as well. But I don't see any of that right now. So that looks absolutely good. And do you see how it's kind of pouring out really quickly? So the oil is nice and warm. When you heat up the oil, it gets thinner. When you freeze it, it gets thicker. So what I did in essence is by driving the car, I was heating up the oil so I can get as much of that dirty oil out the car as possible. That's how I get the most of these oil changes. So I let that drip for quite a long time. Now I just kind of temporarily put the oil drain plug in there so I could spend some time getting the filter. The filter is actually right next to where I'm working now. So I didn't want two things dripping at the same time. So what I'll do is just take off the oil drain filter. That shouldn't be tight at all. I should be able to kind of unscrew that with my hand. And I'm not applying pressure. That is a breaker bar. That's for breaking nuts. Pause. That's for getting really tough bolts off or adding a lot of torque. And I'm not doing any of the above. So don't come for me, please. I should now be able to just unscrew it with my hand. Oh boy, I am looking for anything bad, any chunks of metal in the bottom of that housing. I'm looking like, oh my gosh. This is a scary moment right now. This could be pivotal. Filter just comes off. Taking a good look at all the oil. Looking for any silver floating around or even a silver color like shaved metal, anything right now. I can't believe this is happening. I was so good. Let me peek up inside the filter housing, see how that looks. That looks fine. Get some more light. There we go. I can see now. See the screws. It actually looks pretty good. Nothing hung inside there. All right. This is where I get to take a closer look and see what's really going on. I am making a mess. I'm not really concerned about making a mess right now. What I'm looking for is any little metal fragments hanging out inside my filter. Those metal fragments would be from, engine wear, regular engine wear. But more importantly, those metal fragments would be from the IMS intermediate shaft bearing just breaking up inside the car. This is one of the benefits of having paper filters. Most oil filters are in a metal can, like a canister that you twist, that you spin on. A few of the German cars here have the filter in housings, and it's a lot easier for me to see what's going on with this filter and what's going on inside the engine when I change the oil. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. Please, 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 please. I don't want to see any metal. No metal, no metal. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, that looks really good. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I'm feeling a little bit better. Nothing has really changed. I still need to do the work on the car ASAP. I'm not going to move it from that spot until that work gets done. All right, so I'm still going to put oil in the car, although I'm not going to drive it. I'm going to put the filter on. I'm going to put the oil inside the engine. you know, as if everything is normal. That snaps on first. Make sure you lubricate the O-ring on the outside of that housing, otherwise it'll twist up, bind up, and you will get a leak. You put some even old oil or any type of lubrication on that O-ring, and the O-ring will slip around until tight as opposed to bind up if there's no lubrication. So yes, that's the same Poland spring container I cut open for many jobs already. I'm basically going to use this, and I'm going to fill the oil back in the car, make sure the levels are good. Altogether, I'm going to add about 8.25 liters of fresh oil. Check the levels, and I should be good to go.